Okay, so this isn't coffee. I've done a couple of whiskey episodes in the past, you'll remember, and that is when I don't have time in the morning, or I just don't get to it, or I just don't feel like it. So this is gin and tonic. It is after 1 o'clock in South Africa, so don't worry about it. What can I tell you? Earlier today, I spoke to Alistair Jolly, who is the marketing and sales manager for Smug Mug, which, if you're a photographer, you need the website for your portfolio. So he's in Scotland, and they are still locked down. Like, they only let out of the house for a certain amount of time per day and everything. Now, Alistair, if you do watch this, hang in there, man. You're not looking so good. I did tell him, so it's cool. It's tough. For us, mostly in South Africa, it's almost back to normal-ish. There's still some regulations in place, but the only fear, and I spoke to Mads Peter Iverson as well from Denmark about an hour ago, is that people start losing kind of respect, and then they just mess it up again. So, yeah, anyway, so Alistair's stuck in Scotland. He can't wait to travel again. I last saw him, I think, about a year and a half ago in San Francisco. I went to present to the Smug Mug offices and chatting here and there. We're going to do some work together again now. Some cool videos coming up. Then a podcast with Mads. He lives in Denmark, and he does landscape photography, like really, really good landscape photography. And yeah, just a nice chat about, I don't know, what do we speak about? Landscape photography, the pandemic, cryptocurrency, a little bit of everything. So it's a fun one. It's live now already. So if you're watching this on my IGTV, just swipe back to the profile, go check it out. Good fun. And go follow him. His work is really, really amazing. Other than that, I'm going to leave the office here in about 45 or so. I wanted to errands to run, meeting Michael and Tessa, a client of his, for a quick, I don't know if it's a lunch or an early dinner or a drink or everything. I don't know yet. But Mike, I'll see you at 3:30. And it's a long weekend in South Africa. I didn't know it until Mike actually went around the office doing like a little video. Like, what are you looking for the weekend? So I'm the only chop of the whole office going to look at his video. That's like, oh, yeah, no, why is today good day? Because I did a podcast and I'm going to have nice food tonight. And everyone's like, yeah, it's a long weekend. Gerry didn't know. Long weekend. So on Sunday, we're doing a potjie, which translates for you international folk to small pot. But a potjie is a thing. And I'll share some of my stories from there. But we're going to make a lamb potjie and a seafood potjie, which is basically a pot on a fire, and you kind of make food in that. That should be fun. No other plans at this stage, really. Training tomorrow morning, maybe go for a run on Sunday, Monday, I don't know. It's quite unusual for me to not have anything specific to go and do. But yeah. So a lot of feedback or a lot of comments from you guys and direct messages on the story in North Island with the little girl shat on the lawn. So I'm thinking there's so many of those, it's frightening. But some of you also asked about, because I mentioned the service at North Island, and I think it was a pretty interesting thing for me because I came from that's kind of just before into kind of the lodge management side of things. But on the Queen Mary 2, we did courses called, it's the White Star Line, which used to be for Titanic. So Cunard, I think, either bought over or became White Star Line way back. So they have the same color as Titanic. I digress. Coming back, they did with all staff. They did a service course. It's the White Star service course. Something. So every single staff member on the boat had to do that. And it's like, how do you greet people, what not to do. And it's stupid things like, which some of the lodges I manage as well, we try to enforce is, for example, if people are close by and there's 3 or 4 staff members standing together, don't speak in another language than English because it's rude. It's small things you don't think about, but it actually means something. So then at North Island, I mentioned preemptive service, and this is kind of what they did, and I mentioned the guitar story. And so the approach with North was that, so North is still, for those of you that missed it, North Island is one of Wilderness Properties' premier kind of destinations. It's an island-based lodge, and I managed guest relations on there for about a year. So the story with the one Russian grandfather, they took 2 villas, and it was their the granddaughter's birthday. And he came to us on a Sunday afternoon because Monday morning was her birthday. And he said to us, listen, they've been chatting and this, and they've got some gifts for this granddaughter, but can we please get him a guitar? He also wants to give her a guitar because she likes music. And now think about this. We're about a 45-minute helicopter flight away from Mahe, which is the main island, where the only places you're going to find any shop of any kind. But to find a guitar shop on Mahe, tough, and it's Sunday afternoon. So you don't say no. That's just one of the things. So we ended up phoning because the Seychelles are a little bit lazy, but hey, they live on an island, so who blames them? So we phoned some of the contacts on that side. They eventually found the owner. This is on a Sunday afternoon late. They found the owner of the only music store in Mahe. We got the guitar. We got on a helicopter. It arrived just before sunset that evening. Got it to him, and his granddaughter got it the next morning. So, yeah, that was the whole thing. So, actually, hold on, preemptive service. Different story. So, I was right. So, as guest relations, right? There were a couple of us, and you would get guests assigned to you, and you basically tailor make their experience. So, I remember this one guy at the time. I cannot remember his name, but he was the third richest Russian in the world. This chap started doing illegal currency on the black market, on the streets, right? And eventually built it into a bank official. So more money than God made cheap. So he arrives, and his bride, quite recently wed, is the Miss Venezuela from the previous year. She was not bad to look at, right? And we did homework on our guests before they arrived. It wasn't as in-depth as we can do now. I think it was just as Instagram and Facebook were starting to get, well, Facebook starting to get big. So we knew that this guy was pretty well off because we looked at his business. And at their wedding, they had Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston, this is a long time ago, and Enrique Iglesias each doing one song for $1 million. Now, we're talking early 2000s here. So it must have been quite a bash. Anyway, he comes up. So I fetched some hell of a nice people. So he comes up to me and he says, listen, I want to do whale sharks. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh shit, because this is so far out of whale shark season, it's not even funny. But we don't say no, we say yes. So I said, okay, cool, you know what? I know it's not the right season, but let me make some calls, see if anybody's find them. So go back, he goes off and he's at Villa 11, which was the big one. And I'm phoning around dive shops on Mahe, Prahl and Ladigue, everywhere. Nobody's seen a whale shark in weeks. Shit. So now you gotta go back with some. So I go back to this guy and I says, listen, there's been no whale shark sightings, but why don't we do something about this? Why don't, as an activity, we can rent a helicopter or even a microlight and we can go look for them, which is in itself pretty awesome. So you can go over the sides of the island and you can see these things swim underneath. So that's pretty cool. And he says, you know what, that sounds like a good idea. Put the helicopter up, but I don't want to go. It's fine. Okay, then. So I phone around. It was in Ladigue. So the guys in Ladigue puts up a helicopter, and the whole morning, I think 2 hours, they're now looking for whale sharks along the coast. Zip, nothing. I get the call. Great. Go back to this guy and say, listen, still no whale sharks. Come on, man. You've been sitting on your beach the whole day. Let's us go and we look for whale sharks this afternoon. We get a chopper again. He says, no, it's fine. Put the chopper up. I'm going to chill on the beach. I mean, Miss Venezuela was his wife. What do you want? So that afternoon, we put the chopper up again. Nothing. Go to him at dinner time. What was his name? I'm going to get it. Still no. Why don't we go tomorrow morning? The microlights are awesome. It's quiet. And we can go and look. He says, no. Let's go big. He says, can you put a chopper and a microlight up and just find whale sharks? But he's not being a dick about it. He's actually he's a nice guy. So he says, that's cool. Next morning, I put a chopper in the air. I put a microlight in the air. These things go. This kept going for 2 full days. So the afternoon and 2 more full days. 0. No whale sharks. So I go back to the guy and said, listen, I'm starting to feel a bit bad here because you want to see whale sharks. I can't show you a whale shark. It's very out of season. Please, just come with me on a helicopter flight so I know I've done something. And he's like, you know what? It's not such a big deal anyway. Just leave it. Come again. Like I've been stressing my ass off for the last 3 days, putting helicopters and microlights in the sky. I didn't go on one because he didn't go on one, which sucks. But he's just like, nah, that's fine. I think, and this is early 2000s, I think we paid just short of $30,000 for helicopters and microlights over the 4 days. And it's like, nah, that's okay. Funny enough, same people. So there's a photographer called Michael Poliza. He did, what was that thing called? Eyes Over Africa, where he flew in a helicopter from Egypt all the way to Cape Town, and he did aerial photography. He was going to guide them photographically in the Serengeti after their North Island trip. They wanted to take their poodle with them. Poodles are not real dogs, but they wanted to take it with them. That's my opinion. They ended up paying somehow. Now, you can't take a poodle to the Serengeti. You just don't do that. Imagine it gets loose, and then years later, there's American clients that come to the Serengeti, and there's like a herd of wild poodle. I mean, fuck what? Anyway, so they ended up paying officials, and they took their poodle with Michael Poliza into the Serengeti. I don't know what they're called. Those double prop helicopters. That. Interesting times. Anyway, I'm going to get stuck into this gin and tonic now. John is almost finished. And I probably won't see you on the weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Question for the day. Do you think a poodle is a real dog? In the comments below. Is a poodle a real dog? I'm going now. My name is Gerry from Walt and I. Bye.